Hello, I'm Duncan Lorien. I'm the founder of the Understanding of Music Company and the creator of the Understanding of Music seminars, including Understanding the Basics of Singing. And I've taken about 42,000 people through these seminars, and this data applies to every style of singing. It's not just a technique that applies to one. Very first thing that I always ask my students when we first start is, how basic do you need to get in a subject like learning to sing? If you're going to learn to sing, there are certain basics that you will totally have to grasp. You'll learn these from a teacher or from a book, but very often you're just told the mechanism. You're not given the opportunity to understand it. When you understand something, you are the one who's in control. It's the difference of, here's the complexity of the subject, here's you. Do you want to be here, or would you prefer to be here? That's why I believe in understanding. It's so important. Let's have a look at this. This is the power mechanism. This is the diaphragm. This is what's going to be used to support your airstream. It looks kind of like a parachute in the body. Got that parachute shape. Learning to use it correctly would seem to be obvious. You go to a teacher, you look in a book. That information is so confusingly explained. I have so many people that come to me and go, oh, I don't know whether I'm supposed to be using tension, no tension. Look, how have you been getting on with breathing so far in your life? Okay, good. That's how I want you to continue. Now, I'm going to give you several simple exercises in the seminar to teach you how to get that support from your diaphragm while you're breathing relaxed and comfortable, just as you normally breathe. One of the things you want to do is to think about it from a visual viewpoint. If you have a candle flame, you want that candle flame to be gently pushed away from you with your airstream. You don't want it flickering. This is what I mean by controlling the airstream, because you're going to set a tone on that. And you want that tone to be supported all the time you're producing it. That's where learning to use the diaphragm in the correct way makes a huge difference. Many people use it incorrectly. And the next thing is, alien in your body. Yes, you've all got one of these. This is your vocal folds, sometimes incorrectly told as the vocal cords. They're not cords, they're folds. And when they're drawn closer together, they vibrate against each other to produce a buzzing sound. That's all they do. They produce a buzzing sound. It's the sound producing mechanism that you then shape with various parts of your head and body. Think of it this way. If you have a trumpet, the mouthpiece is not what's producing the final sound of the trumpet. It's just the initial sound production mechanism. If you have a mouthpiece, it's kind of like blowing into a cone through tissue paper. It gives you a buzzing sound. And that's literally all you're doing. That's all it does. But then you shape it with the rest of the instrument. So, the length of your vocal folds, the physical length, is what determines the range of your voice. Ladies tend to have shorter vocal fold length, so they get higher sounds. This is where you get sopranos, mezzo-sopranos, altos. Now, you can't change that. The length of your vocal folds is a physical factor. You can't possibly turn yourself from a soprano to an alto. You can increase your vocal range, but you have a vocal range depending on the length of your vocal folds. Gentlemen have longer vocal folds, so you get tenors, you get baritones, you get basses. And again, you're born with a circle vocal length. It doesn't change. But what you do with it is another thing altogether. Ever wondered how those opera singers can sing and fill a whole theatre without any microphones? Or how a Shakespearean actor can fill a theatre with their voice? Now is the winter of our disco. How do they manage to do that? It's all to do with space, resonance. If you have a small bedroom, no matter how big your voice is, it's not going to make a very big sound because the space for your voice is limited. But if you go into a cathedral, what you just did with your voice will sound huge. You've all had that experience. Now, resonance is the key. Resonance. If you're going to get resonance out of your body, there's a whole series of cavities, areas within your head that will do different things. I said I'd give you a little drill. I'm going to give you a little drill today so you actually hear how quick you could possibly change a sound in your voice. Now we're going to work on an area called your laryngopharynx. If you want to increase the resonance coming from this area, the secret is yawning. Well, actually, not yawning, that period just before you yawn. That sensation of I'm just about to yawn, because you can't yawn because you're in a business meeting or in your first date and you really don't want to make it look like you're bored. Now, if you're going to increase the resonance from your laryngopharynx, start that yawn. But don't let it come into a full yawn. Just try that. Hold it. Don't turn it into a full yawn. Don't fall asleep. Now, we're going to do an experiment. I want you to hear how quickly we can change the quality of your voice. Sing a tone. I don't care what tone you sing. It can be a low tone. It can be a high tone. It can be a grunt for all I care. Make a sound in your privacy of your own home. Do that right now. Now, you're going to repeat that sound, but not until you do this exercise. So start to feel that yawn coming on and then hold it. Now, did you feel the space open up in the back of your throat when you did that? Can you feel that? Good. Now sing that same tone. Did you hear a difference? Try it again. Do it without the yawn. Now, feel that yawn just about coming on. You can feel the change, the shifting of the muscles in the back of the throat. Sing it again. Do you hear a change in the quality of your voice? Well done. In the seminar, we're going to learn all about these different areas. Look, here's another area. If you take your finger, take your cleanest finger, please, roof of your mouth, just behind your front teeth, you have what's called the hard palate. Now, move that finger further back on the roof of your mouth. Do you feel the palate getting softer and softer? That's your soft palate. That is your secret weapon. That is what's going to turn your voice into this powerhouse, into a vibrant, ringing sound, and you're going to literally have a sound coming out of your mouth that other people go, oh, how do you do that? I'll show you in the seminar. It's going to increase the power of your voice, and it's going to make you go, I have a voice, which you do. Everyone does. Think about this logically. 42,000 people. If there was such a thing as a person who couldn't sing, by the law of averages, I would have to have met that person. I would have to. I haven't met them. Therefore, everyone can sing. And we're going to learn about how do you handle stage fright? How do you stand in front of an audience and feel comfortable? How do you shift from being somebody who's nervous into literally being Superman in front of a whole audience and the whole crowd are welcoming you? And how do you build stage presence? How do you walk onto a stage and have the people applauding you just for walking on before you've even sung a note? Is that physically possible? Absolutely. And is it possible in just 2 days? If you can see such a huge difference in your voice in 2 days, what happens to your level of motivation? What happens to your willingness to practice? What happens to your future singing interest? Maybe you've thought about singing in a choir or karaoke or standing up at a talent night. Maybe you've got stronger interests. Maybe you've thought about one of those shows, the X Factors, the Idols. Don't consider these things are impossible. I've had a whole bunch of people go onto those shows. You could too. It really is possible. 2 days. Find your voice. Thank you for watching.